Hi, so this is the Seamstress Tag. I have been dabbling once again in apparel sewing for myself more specifically. I sew for my children and have sewn for them for 20 years. So yeah, I came across this tag. That's the point. I came across this tag on YouTube from Holly Sews. Thanks, Holly, for putting this together. And she has an open invitation to anyone to join. So I'm joining. My name is Emily. I'm a stay-at-home mom with 5 children. I've been married to my husband for 20 years, and we live in the country in the United States of America. So that's who I am. Number 2 is, when and why did you start sewing? Well, I started sewing at a very young age because my mother is a seamstress. She sewed clothes for myself and my siblings as well as for her, and it was something that she taught us how to do, and I enjoyed it off and on. And my first project that I really took on with gusto for myself that I wanted to make was a flannel nightgown when I was in high school. And I sewed it on my first sewing machine, which was a Burnett. And I don't remember the model, but my parents got it for me either for Christmas or for high school graduation, I'm not sure which. And so I started sewing with that, like I said, sporadically. Through college I didn't sew a lot, but sometimes during Christmas break I would pick up a project and sew. Then when I got married and had children, I began sewing more because I was sewing for them. Okay, number 3, what is your favorite or proudest make? Is that right? Yeah. So recently, I'm keeping it to the recent things because there are some things along the way that I'm really proud of because it was a big step up in skill. But this is the most proudest. This is the most proudest. This is the most recent. This is a costume that I made for my daughter, and I'm sorry I do not have the pattern. We borrowed it from my mother, but this is the costume. It is floor length. It has a zipper in the back, bell sleeves, ribbon and lace detail, and it has these little flounces on the side. It's for a project that she had to do in her history class to dress up as Martha Washington and do a presentation. So when I'll find that picture and include it on the end of her wearing this for her school. And then we made a bustle. We just put a pillow on the back. I don't know if that's the right way to make a bustle. I'm sure it's not, but that's how we got around the bustle. And she wore it for her school project as well as for Halloween that year and lent it to, anyway, it's had a lot of use, and that is my proudest, most recent make. Most disastrous make and favorite place to fabric shop go together. I am, like I said in the beginning, trying to get back into sewing apparel for myself. I sew for my kids all the time, but I want to start sewing more for myself. So McCall's pattern M7286 is what I am taking on because I need some tops. I'm trying to make view D with a 3/4 sleeve from view B. So I was at the fabric store with my children and very distracted and in a hurry, and so I just grabbed some fabric. I wanted it to contrast on the shirt, and so this is what I got and what I sewed up. And the disaster part of it is that the fabric is different weights. The solid purple is a heavier weight than the print with the paisley, and so it just doesn't hang right. It's also too large, and so I need to make it in a smaller size. So this was just my first, and I knew when I got home I started cutting out, the weights were different, and I was like, I don't know, I haven't made this style shirt before, maybe it'll be okay. I already have the fabric, I'm just gonna try it out. Anyway, I'll wear it around the house and it'll be fine. I've already cut out the fabric to make it again, but in a smaller size, and I won't be doing a contrast because the only place I have for apparel fabric close to me is Joann's Fabric. So they didn't have a contrast that I could do that was of the same weight fabric. So I'm doing it all one fabric, and we'll see how it turns out. I would like to be able to buy apparel fabric online, but I don't have much confidence that it will be what I want, that it'll feel right, that it'll be the right weight, that'll have the drape that I want when I get it. So I haven't done that yet. So if you guys have some suggestions, I'd love to hear them on how to do it online and know that the drape is right, that the weight is right. Anyway, let's see. Next is number 6. What is your most used pattern? My most used pattern is actually a pattern book. It's called Quick Sew Sewing for Children. Like I said, I sew for my kids. And this, they're sewing for toddlers and sewing for infants as well. I've had them for 15 years and have gotten a lot of use out of them. I've traced off a lot of the patterns. I've made jackets, shorts, dresses, pajamas, nightgowns, t-shirts, obviously. So lots of things from that pattern book. Number 7, your most dreaded sewing task is, like I've said over and over again, fitting for myself. Sewing for myself is really hard. I can do a skirt, no problem, but a shirt is just really hard. I've had a couple that have worked well, but that's it. Recently, in the recent sewing. Okay, number 8, favorite sewing task is top stitching and stitching in the ditch for the lining, because it really elevates your apparel to the next level. It doesn't look so homemade. Number 9, what is your favorite sewing entertainment? This last week it has been the Seamstress Tags. I have loved listening to everyone on the Seamstress Tags. I especially love hearing about their Disastrous makes and their Proudest makes, because it really makes us human. Instead of being out there like, everything's perfect and look at how great I am, it's like, yeah, and I have those horrible days too, and those horrible projects that don't work and you just throw them in the trash. Or the things that you're so proud of, you would wear it every single day, everywhere you went, if you could. So, number 10. I don't know if I completely answered number 9. So when the Seamstress Tag isn't around, I do Pandora, Netflix, and we just recently got an Amazon Prime, so I've been checking out some of their videos, because when I sew is late at night after the kids are in bed, so I'd like to have a little background noise, and then also in the afternoons while they're at school. So, okay, number 11. What sewing machine do you use? It is right behind me. It's a Bernina 1008. It is my second sewing machine, and I got it after my oldest son was about 3, and I bought it used, and I love it, and there's no going back, and there's no changing either. I have looked at sewing machines with more and whatever, but they just have more, and that's not something that I will use. I've been sewing long enough, I know kind of what I like to do, and the 1008 has it. It's the perfect match for me. Okay, number 12, and the last question. Do you have any other hobbies? I do. I have a lot of other hobbies. I really enjoy quilting, embroidery, and cross stitch are things that I really enjoy. Let's see, I read books. I listen to a lot of audiobooks as well. I backpack and I hike with my family. We live in the country, and so other things that we do are we garden and we preserve the produce from our garden, and we cook and we bake, because there are not restaurants here. So if you want French fries, you fry your own French fries. If you want a milkshake, you got to make it. So that's kind of a hobby, but kind of just because of where we live, something we do that other people would consider a hobby. So that's a little bit about me. This has been really fun. Again, thank you, Holly, so much for putting it together. I don't really know many seamstresses that I would be able to tag, so the only one I know is Stephanie Lynn. So Stephanie Lynn, if you have not done the Seamstress Tag, please join us. We'd love to have you join the Seamstress Tag. I found her because I was looking for someone who had tidied their sewing room using the KonMari method, because that's what I was doing, and I found her, and she did, and she gave me a lot of it gave me a lot of encouragement, because, you know, as someone who sews, it's hard to part with fabric, and it's hard to part with patterns, and how do you make it all work so that you're really keeping the things that you enjoy. And so I kind of followed her, and I appreciated that, Stephanie. And that concludes my participation in the Seamstress Tag. Thanks so much for watching.